Okay, welcome to Bucks Weekly, a special holiday edition where we are profiling some former Buccaneer athletes who are now competing and excelling at the collegiate level. And we're going to begin with arguably one of the most decorated athletes ever to come out of Covington High School, in Jackie Siefring, who is competing at Akron University. Is it University of Akron?
University of Akron.
University of Akron, as a track athlete. And Jackie, you really excelled at Akron, not only at Akron, but also at the professional level. Can you kind of talk about your experience at Akron?
Yeah, so I came in as a freshman there, and I kind of had a adjustment season. Like I did okay. I did better than they expected me to, but I got like second in our conference, I think, in the pentathlon and the heptathlon and the 400 hurdles. So I got a bunch of second places. But that was really just a year of growth for me. And then sophomore year is where we really tried to like attack things and make some more adjustments so that I could get up on the big stage like my coach thought I could. And so sophomore year I ended up going to nationals in indoor and outdoor, and I placed 10th in indoor and 12th in outdoor. So I got two second team All-American accolades. But and we were happy with that. It was good exposure, like good experience for on the national level. The junior year, we tried to mature things a little bit more and become more consistent, and that's really what happened. I don't know, I feel like it wasn't really my breakthrough year like my coach was saying I was going to have, but I did really improve in like maturity and consistency and everything. So I ended up getting, I think, 12th in indoor, which was a really bad meet, but again, more experience. And then I got 5th in outdoor, so that was where I got finally my top 8, my first team All-American accolade. So and now this year we're hoping for that breakthrough year, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I guess I kind of breezed over. Also last year I did perform at USATF championships, which includes like basically you just have to be a U.S. citizen to compete. But a lot of, like that's the professional nationals. So that's where like Clayton ran, and that's where Allison Felix runs, and like all the professionals. So I ended up placing 10th there, and because of that I got selected to compete on the Thorpe Cup team, and we traveled to Germany and competed against the Germans there. So I got a week trip to Germany out of the whole thing, so it was great.
What was it like to be able to wear the USA uniform and to go over to Germany? I mean, that had to be awesome.
Yeah, it was really like surreal. I just never really envisioned that I would be competing on that level, so it was kind of like when I got my kit I was like, oh my god, like this is what the Olympians wore last year, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was an awesome experience. I'm the kind of person that I'm never really satisfied, so like I wasn't really happy with my performance there, but it was after a long season, and it was. So I mean, your marks weren't where you wanted them to be, of course, but like honestly, none of that really mattered, just because it was such a fun meet and such a cool experience. Like I've never been out of country before, so it was an awesome way to start things off.
So what's a typical day for Jackie Siefring as far as you got your academics you got to worry about, you got your training. What's a typical day?
Well, this last semester was pretty tough, just because I was in 18 credit hours, and they're all senior level classes, so. I think my first class, my schedule wasn't too bad though, it was just like a lot of studying. But my first class is at 8 o'clock every day, which was actually my senior design group meeting, which took up a lot of time this semester. It was like 15 hours a week working on just that project. But then I would go to I was basically in class from like 8 to 12 in the morning, and then I would go straight to practice. And I would try to, this has actually kind of worked out well. I only had like a 2.5 hour window for practice, which isn't really ideal because normally I need about 3 to 4. But it kind of forced my coach to like condense things, which was kind of a good thing, because sometimes when we have unlimited time, things just drag out and we're not really being productive anymore. It's just kind of wasting time. So it's kind of forced things to be like short and concise, which I think was good this semester. And so then I'd basically practice until 2:30. I would run to class, not cool down at all, it was bad. Run to class in my like practice gear. I'd show up to class all sweaty and stinky. I'd sit in the back row for my advanced biomaterials class. I'd sit there for an hour, and then I'd actually go back for like the second half of my practice and do like some javelin and some like recovery work so I don't get hurt. Then I'd go home, So that would probably equal out to be like a 3.5 hour day, maybe for practice. And then I'd go home and I'd eat and I would pretty much study and do homework until like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. I'm not someone that I don't stay up very late like to do homework. I'm not the person that can like cram and pull all nighters. So I do as much as I can till 11:30 and then I'll wake up early the next morning if I don't finish it. Like I don't
Make sure you get your rest.
Yeah. I prioritize sleep personally because I become a different person when I don't get enough sleep and it's not a good person. So
what about your diet? I mean, I assume, with that type of training that you're doing and, the level that you're competing at, I assume your diet is pretty...
Yeah, I've really cleaned that up a lot throughout college. Looking back at high school, I don't understand how I wasn't like a terrible athlete because I ate terrible. I took like a milkshake every day in high school, but I don't do that anymore. I still eat my fair share of junk food, but like I definitely eat healthier the rest. Like it's not if I'm eating bad, like if I'm snacking bad, I'll eat very healthy meals. Like I'm always balancing things out. I eat a whole lot more vegetables and like lean meats than I used to. That's definitely played a big role, I think, and especially like just my body recomposition since I went to college. I've really tried, like when you get on the national level, you start to see that like everyone there looks like a collegiate athlete. Like they look like or a professional athlete. Like all the girls are ripped, all the guys are ripped, and you don't want to be there being like the fluffy marshmallow at the meet. So like you definitely try to watch what you eat a little bit. But I mean, you don't have to be a crazy person about it either.
Does the school help you with that, kind of helping you with your diet?
Maybe some schools do. Akron, we have nutritionalists that you can talk to, but our coaches, they're not super concerned with it. Like usually it kind of takes care of itself, and the athletes who have problems with it, like they'll refer them to them maybe. I never really had to deal with that. But in my case, it just kind of took care of itself, honestly. Like when I lost like 15 pounds right when I went from high school to college, just because I went from 45-minute practices to 3.5-hour practices, and just it kind of just happened by itself. But it's something I've actually been really interested in nutrition and everything, and I like to observe kind of what I'm putting into my body and how I feel like in correlation with that. So with me, I don't take things too seriously. I don't like calorie count or anything like that, but I just try to, in general, be mindful of what I eat and be healthy. So I read a lot of nutritional labels.
Okay, let's go back to your high school days. You had in your junior season, you placed in a couple events, the hurdles and then a long jump, and then in between your junior and senior year, you had a major knee injury that was really unfortunate. It happened at a summer league basketball game. How difficult was that to overcome that injury and get ready for your senior year?
It was I think it was more mental than anything, honestly. I lived with a lot of fear for a while that like I wouldn't be fast anymore and that, all my muscle fibers were going to degrade and I wasn't going to be explosive or fast anymore. So that was kind of a mental barrier that I had to overcome. Honestly, I just didn't baby it. Like, I probably didn't follow an orthodox.
I remember you didn't baby it because you were trained out at Tremaine's.
Yeah, I didn't really follow an orthodox recovery regimen, but and I wouldn't really recommend that to athletes maybe, but for me it just kind of lucked out. But I feel like it was kind of necessary for me though too, just to get over that like fear of like not being explosive with it and everything. You kind of just have to trust your body and know that like if you're not doing stupid stuff, like I wasn't doing a lot of lateral cutting and everything like that. I was being very aware of what was going on with my body and what hurt, what didn't, and I wouldn't do things that hurt obviously, but I didn't baby it. And there was a point in time where I just kind of had to trust it and trust that it would be there, the strength would be there and everything. So I mean, it was difficult, but honestly, it's been a while now, but I don't really remember it being a like super strenuous process. Like, I don't know, it wasn't. Anyone who tears their knee, I would never tell them that like, oh, you're gonna have a hard time, like a hard road to recovery. I would just say that just be aggressive with your recovery and do what your doctor tells you, but don't back off in your head. Just think like it's gonna be there when you need it to be there. It'll be fine. So It was just kind of unfortunate that it happened for me in like prime recruiting time. So, but it's all right. It all worked out, man. So.
Well, it definitely worked out because you went over to state, and I remember that you were really upbeat going over to state, and you didn't put a lot of pressure on yourself to accomplish goals, but you went over there and set a school record in a long jump, won a state title. You won a state title in the 300 hurdles, and then you got third in the 100 meter hurdles. And it just seemed like you went over there and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I try to remember in college too, is get back to the same mindset. Like honestly, I think my high school mindset would be better in college than my current mindset is now, and that's kind of a challenge that I'm trying to. It's just really hard to find the perfect like competition mindset, honestly, and I want to get back a little bit more to like how I felt my freshman year of college and my senior year of high school, like where I feel like I just kind of want to prove everyone wrong and I want to come out and have fun and do my best basically, whereas now it gets more difficult in college because all eyes are on you all the time and everyone has expectations for you to do what you did last year, do better than you did last year, and it's kind of easy to get mixed up in all that. So this next year I'm really just trying to throw all that out the window and just try to do my best. And honestly, like, I don't like to, I try not to vocalize my goals too much, because I'm someone that I like to internalize them a little bit more and kind of keep them to myself and then kind of shock people. That's what I want to do, is I want to shock people this year, so we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck, Jackie, with your upcoming senior year and also beyond that. And it's great to have you back in Covington, and I hope to be able to see you get another All-American, hopefully a national championship. That would be awesome, too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Shoot for the stars. Why not?
That's right. Well, that's it with Jackie Siefring. Up next, we will have Jordan Moschino.
Hello, my name is Ron Sutherland, President of Covington Savings and Loan. We have been a part of the Covington and the surrounding community since 1886. We have been serving both savings and loan customers and help promoting home ownership. Stop by and talk with Jason for your lending needs, or see Diane in Brooklyn for all your savings needs. Thank you for your continued support to help Covington Savings and Loan continue to support the Covington community. FDIC approved.
Welcome back to Bucks Weekly, the holiday edition. And I'm with 2016 Covington graduate Jordan Moschino, who is a sophomore basketball player at Defiance. And Jordan, so how is your college career going so far?
It's going well. Definitely different than freshman year. Academically, it's a lot. I gotta study a lot more. Very up tempo with the grades and academics.
So what's your major?
Criminal law.
Criminal law?
Yeah.
So how many hours of studying do you have to do a night?
A night, depending on the test. If I have a test throughout that week, I have to study at least 2 nights before, probably about 2 hours. But
okay, so you're in your sophomore season on the basketball team, and you've earned a starting position. So can you talk about the process that you went through from when you first got to Defiance to now, to getting to earning that starting job?
Well, my freshman year, the basketball season, it went rough because my first half of the season, I was like kind of on a punishment. I didn't really get a dress. I had to go through practice and show coach I was committed to the team, because he didn't think I was committed because I had some issues going on back at home and not knowing if I wanted to stay there. And then towards the next half of the season, my freshman year, I got into that 6-man role where I earned coach's trust and I started playing throughout the whole games. So that was my freshman year, and then upcoming this year, I started off, I was suspended for 2 games, and then I came in the 3rd game and I played the whole second half, and coach trusted me then, so then I started the next game. And it's definitely what I'm used to. Like, I wasn't ever used to playing like the 6-man. It was different coming in off the bench, but.
So what's the biggest transition from high school to the collegiate level? Is it physical, mental? What's the biggest transition?
It's definitely more physical, and it's a lot more up pace than high school. They have me playing the 5 right now, so I have to make sure I'm walling everybody up, getting real aggressive in the post, and then on offense I'm a guard, so I'm playing post on defense and then a guard on offense. So I have to make sure I'm beat them off the dribble on offense, but it's definitely a lot more physical, I'd say.
Okay, so how is playing at Covington help prepare you for college?
At Covington, since I was the only senior, I had to make sure I had to be like a leader to the team. In order to do that, since I was the only senior, I had to try to get every rebound, make sure I was trying to do everything right, boxing out, guard the big man, because I was one of the biggest kids on the team. So since I was guarding the big man, it kind of helped me out knowing how to guard them when I got to college. So that definitely helped.
So your height, you're what, 6'2", 6'3", around there?
Yeah.
Defending in the post has got to be a challenge, because I'm sure you see guys that are pretty massive.
Yeah, 6'9", 6'8" is the common height.
So how are you able to defend guys like that?
Keep both of my hands up and use my lower body to kind of move them out. It's definitely exhausting.
So what kind of training do you do in the off season and also during the season?
During the off season, I lift with the football team at 6 in the morning, 3 days a week, because I figured it's going to get me more physical and more aggressive. And then we have workouts we do, so I usually shoot about 4 days a week for 2 hours, and then do a lot of running, conditioning class that I take.
Okay, so what are your goals for the rest of your college career?
I want to become the leading rebounder for the season, and then either this year or next year I want to get all conference player.
Okay, well, good luck, Jordan.
Thank you.
Up next, we will have Carly Shell from Ohio University.
Color Green Photo offers a variety of photographic options for high school seniors, weddings, and families. We pride ourselves in providing creative and captivating images that have a special meaning to those we shoot. Please visit colorgreenphoto.com to view samples of our work and contact us at 937-418-0417 to schedule your next photo session.
Welcome back to Bucks Weekly, the holiday edition, and I'm with 2016 Covington graduate Carly Shell, who is running track and cross country at Ohio University. So Carly, how has your collegiate experience been for you?
So far, for the most part, it's been pretty well. I had a couple injuries that have set me back a little bit, but I mean, running with the team and being a part of it has been spectacular.
So what's the difference between the college level and the high school level that you've noticed?
Well, there's a lot more miles put into it, but it's more of just having a coach that runs with us, understands what we've been through, because my coach ran at OU, so she's pretty understanding about that. All the girls there are there for the same reason, to compete and make OU cross country the best that it can. So that's one of the big things about it. In high school, sometimes you just have people that want to be there for the experience with their friends, which is fine, which I enjoyed that as well, but we're all working towards the same goal.
Okay, so what are you majoring in at OU?
I'm in athletic training, so I'll be like the Brian Downs, maybe, in the future.
Better looking than Brian Downs, for sure, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, I've got him there.
You gotta get a dig in on Brian, you know?
But as a sophomore, we start our clinical rotations, and this past fall, I was with the Marching 110 in the SHAPE clinic, which is the performing arts clinic for dance, music, theater, basically everything that's performing arts on campus.
Okay, you had mentioned you've had some injuries, so far in your collegiate career. How have you overcome those injuries, and where are you at with those injuries?
The best way to overcome is just to, keep the mindset of being a part of that team, which has helped me tremendously. If it weren't for the team, I probably would be set back way worse. But through the coach and the team, I've been getting my miles back in. I've just had my first workout Wednesday, which was awesome to feel that speed again. But really it's just, you got to think about the future and not just where you're at then.
Okay, so what are your goals here, through your junior and senior seasons?
I just want to stay healthy, and if I can score points at one time, that would be awesome. Everyone's goal is to get to the MAC championships, which that'd be awesome as a team if we could do that. But right now it's just enjoy the ride and run as fast as I can.
Okay, and how is, you were part of some really good cross country and track teams in high school at Covington here, and you've set records, been to the state meet, place at state, all that, those kind of things. How has high school prepared you for the collegiate level?
High school has prepared me through just like getting into that mental focus of this is what you're going to have to do. We're building up to this point, and then actually getting to go to the collegiate level is kind of like high school. It actually helped quite a bit because we run a 6K in college and a 5K in high school. So it's like as you move from middle school, you do 2 miles in a race, and then you go to a 5K, and then you go 6K. So it's like a little jump. But having a team has always helped. Like if I was by myself, I wouldn't have as much fun, and I probably wouldn't have the drive to do it as much.
Okay, and your sister had also competed at the collegiate level. Of course, that was in a different sport. And I'm sure when you're a college athlete, times get tough. You're balancing your academics with your athletics. How much has she kind of helped you from a mentorship and in staying focused at college?
I talked to her probably once or twice a week when I first started out. I was like, how do I do this? Because it is hard to balance athletics and academics when you get to that college level. And she just kind of said, you got to stick to it. Your grades are what's important, and that's why you're at school. So grade-wise is what I tried to focus on a lot, and then the running came with it. So it was actually kind of easier as I kind of progressed to focus on my grades. And then my coach also had the same thought, grades come first. With like athletic training, it messes around with a lot of practice times, and so I don't get to do a lot of practices with the team. But my coach is also with my sister. Grades come first. Because if it weren't for grades, you can't be running.
Okay, well, hey, good luck the rest of your career over at OU. And we'll hopefully see you competing and excelling at the MAC championships.
That's the goal.
Okay, well, that's it for Carly Shell. Up next, we will talk to Brooke Gostomsky.
Hi, this is Don Solon, pastor at Fields of Grace Worship Center. We are a non-denominational church with a contemporary casual atmosphere. We are a church committed to reaching outside our walls while at the same time caring for those that call Fields of Grace home. Maybe you know Fields of Grace by all our community events. You are always welcome to come on over for a cup of coffee Sunday mornings and check us out at fieldsofgrace.org for service times.
We're back with BuccsWeekly, the holiday edition, with Brooke Gostomsky, who is a sophomore at Defiance and a 2016 graduate at Covington High School. She is playing on the Defiance softball team, and she just completed her freshman year, and now is getting ready for her sophomore season. So Brooke, can you talk about your college career so far and how it's going?
Yeah, last year I had a really successful year. We finished third in our conference, and our conference is a pretty strong conference. I ended up freshman of the year for conference, and I was freshman of the year for our softball team. I was also first team all conference for the third baseman, and I was offensive player of the year.
So you played third base. Do you also pitch too? I noticed there was a.
Yeah, I started off pitching. In my very first game, I threw a no-hitter, and then our third baseman kind of weaned off and wasn't as great anymore, so I needed to play third base, so I played third base the rest of the season.
And that's a position you never played in high school, right?
No.
So how big was that transition going from a position you've never played before and then having to excel there?
It was a little different. It wasn't too bad because I played first base and the corners are kind of similar, but it was a little bit different playing third. So.
Okay, and in high school at Covington here, you had an outstanding career and you had an unbelievable coach in Dean Denlinger. How did Dean's program and Covington softball prepare you for the college level?
Coach Denlinger was a great coach. He prepared me most of his conditioning. His conditioning prepared me the most. And then I remember last year we did this bunting drill in Defiance, and most of the girls on our team don't know how to bunt. They never learned how to bunt in high school. Well, Coach Denlinger, that was the main thing that he taught in high school was how to bunt. So I called him after that practice and I said, "Thank you for teaching me how to bunt." That helped me tremendously throughout the practice. So
do you still communicate with Coach Denlinger a lot?
Yeah, often. I call him all the time.
Do you give him a hard time about
going to Miami East? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So what are your goals for the rest of your college career? You have three seasons left.
My first goal is, as a team, our thing is we will go and last year we went and it's to the conference tournament. That's our main goal. So like this year we will go again. And our main goal is to eventually win that conference championship. We want a ring apparently. So that's what we want.
Okay, so what do you do during the off season to prepare? I noticed we're interviewing you today and you just got out of the gym preparing. So what do you do to get yourself ready for the season?
I do a lot of cardio work. I like to run because we do a lot of conditioning in practice. And then I also lift often, like almost every day of the week. And then I do a lot of tee work and hitting work for offense, and then I go and field a lot too. So.
Okay, and what's your major at Defiance?
I major in exercise science with a concentration in physical therapy. So.
And how do you balance your athletics and your academics?
It's a lot of time management. Softball keeps me busy, but I seem to handle my time better during softball season. I don't know. It's just I'm constantly doing something. I'm never just sitting around doing nothing. I'm constantly doing something. So.
Okay, if you could go back and talk to any of the kids, a lot of kids at Covington High School that have ambitions of going to college, what would you tell them the best avenue that they need to take to get to that level?
First things first, you need to work hard. Work hard, push yourself throughout your sports, and then don't be shy. Reach out to coaches, get their contacts, reach out to them, but don't be to the point to where you're annoying, I guess. Don't get too overwhelmed with it. So reach out to them, email, do everything you need to, and it kind of just happens. They get interested in you, and then they follow you more, and then before you know it, you're committed. So.
How much does the college coaches look at your academics in high school as to whether they want to recruit you or not?
My coaches especially, that's the very first thing they look at. They look at your academics. Like, right now, that's one of our team goals is to reach a certain team GPA every semester. So, we just got an email from our past semester of our team GPA as a whole was a 3.5.
Wow. And
our goal, I guess, was a 3.53. So, we're pushing to get that goal this spring semester. So, we raise it every year. That's our goal. So. Okay,
well, that's good advice from Brooke Gostomsky on how to get to college and excel in college. Up next, we will talk to Ohio University running back A.J. Ouellette.
Covington Eagles does a lot for this school and this program. We need to give them some thanks. On three, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Covington Eagles, yeah! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Woo! you do for Covington schools. Go Bucks!
We're back with the holiday edition of Bucks Weekly with Ohio redshirt junior running back A.J. Ouellette, who just concluded his season at the Bahamas Bowl. And Ohio had a 41-6 victory over Alabama Birmingham, University of Alabama Birmingham. And in that game, A.J. surpassed the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season, becoming just one of a handful of Ohio Bobcats to ever do that. I believe there was like 7 or 8 players before. So AJ, what was that experience like down there in Bahamas?
Oh, I mean, it was beautiful. From the time we landed, the bowl treated us well. They showed us around, feeding us on the beach and stuff like that. It was cool. The captains got an experience with the Dolphins. We got to, squirt them with a water gun, and they rolled over like they were dead. So, I mean, they just treated us real well. People down there are just, friendly and nice, and it was just a good time.
And there was a picture that they had on the Ohio Bobcats website, and it looked like you were holding the dolphin's tail. Was that what you were doing, like holding back?
Yeah, so we hold him, and he, acts like he's swimming away, pretending to, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just a good interaction with the Dolphins.
Okay, in the game itself, you had a shoulder injury in the last game of the regular season against Buffalo, and there was some doubt of whether you were even going to be able to play. So what was the thought? And you started in the bowl game and got enough carries to get your 1,000 yards. So what was the thought process going into that game?
Going into it, I just had to convince the doctors that I was healthy enough to play. It was supposed to be a 6 to 12 week injury recovery process. We made it 3.5 weeks. I just showed them that it was strong and stuff like that. And basically what our goal was to get 20 yards to get 1,000 for the offensive line, because, being the 8th running back to ever do that at Ohio University, obviously that's a big, compliment of the offensive line. So our big goal was to do that for the O-line. So we went in before the game, got a numbing shot. They said it would last about 2 quarters. And that's pretty much what it got me through, was 20 yards in 2 quarters.
And how exciting was your offensive line when you got that?
Oh, it was all smiles on the sideline. I mean, they were bummed that I was hurt, but I mean, grinning ear to ear, and they knew that they had a successful season. They were happy.
Well, there was a large Covington contingent at the Mexican restaurant here in Covington. Of course, going to the Bahamas, a lot of people don't have the financial means to get down there to the game. So there was a large amount of people there, and they were, we were kind of keeping track as the game went on, and then when you got your 1,000 yards, the place erupted. And we're going to show a quick video clip, and then AJ will comment on that.
I got it ready.
Oh, look, they got the 1,000.
Go.
Yeah, so once I got my 1,000 yards, I'm pretty sure my parents and everybody there knew how many yards I needed. And as you can see, I mean, everybody is going crazy. It's a big milestone for a running back to get 1,000 yards. And I mean, everyone there is excited because they're the ones that have supported me all the way through this process of walking on and becoming the starter and stuff like that. So it's big credit to them as much as me. I got to thank everyone there because, without their support, this ride would be as fun as it has been.
Well, let's go back to, when you graduated from high school, and, you had set so many records at Covington, and yet you came out of high school and there wasn't anybody offered you a scholarship coming out of high school. What was the recruiting process like for you?
It was frustrating, not getting any offers, stuff like that, knowing that you can play at the level and, you can play well at the level. Knowing what I know now, it's all about, who you know and what the coaches know about your conference. So our coaches at OU didn't know too much about the CCC and our division of football, and getting to talk with them and, teaching them basically our way of football, they're starting to look more in the Dayton area and stuff like that. We just signed a kid, a linebacker from the Dayton area, so hopefully we get more looks in this.
So what advice would you give a kid? There's some kids come out to our program that have aspirations of hopefully playing at that level. What advice would you give them to try to accomplish that goal, and starting now as maybe freshmen or sophomores?
Yeah, so to do that you have to start early. You have to pick either your freshman, sophomore year to start. Me, starting with Tremaine's sophomore year when I found out about him helped me tremendously. So first off, working harder than anyone, that you're going to play with or play against. You need to be the one that every time a coach turns on the film, you have to stand out. There's always going to be one or two on the field that's going to stand out in every game. Be one of those two. And then, academics. Most people aren't going to get a Division I scholarship out of high school. We might have had 10 starters that were walk-ons for Ohio University this year. And if you can get academic monies, you're going to get a preferred walk-on over a kid that has to, go all out of pocket.
Yeah, and that's great advice, because there's a lot of kids, maybe parents, so to speak, that think, they see their kids perform and they might be really, really good as a freshman and sophomore at Covington, but there are several divisions in high school, and a lot of the colleges are probably looking at Division I and Division II athletes.
Yeah, each coach has a different area where they recruit, and they go to the top name schools. They're going to go to Wayne and stuff like that, places where you have a bunch of kids to pick from. Covington has great athletes, but there's I graduated 50 kids, so there's not too many to pick from, and they're not going to want to sit down and look through there. They want to go to the big school where they can see the kids that stand out.
And so you go to Ohio University, and immediately within a couple of weeks you got your scholarship, and then you, by the end of your I'd say 3 or 4 games into your freshman season, you're a starting running back. You led them in rushing your freshman year. You led them in rushing your sophomore year. And then your junior year, your true junior year, you had a major foot injury that kept you out that year. Can you talk about the rehab process of that injury?
Yeah, so tore 3 ligaments in my foot. Took a plate and 6 screws to get them back together. And basically, I had to stay off my foot for a good 3 months. I was on a scooter. During those months, I just tried to focus on the younger guys. I knew the older guys at OU knew what to do and knew how to act during football season. So I went in during the redshirt lifts and lifted with them. I didn't get a redshirt lift my freshman year, so that was the best way to do that, mainly all upper body. And after that, I got to rehab it a little bit, which was running underneath the pool and stuff like that. Had to go back in, get the plate taken out. Another month of rehab, and then it was slowly working back into speed work and plyometrics and stuff like that. So it was a good 6 months of not being able to do what I wanted to do, but it challenged me, and it kept me wanting to attack the training thing.
So then you come back for your redshirt junior year, which is this year. Did it feel like you were almost starting over again as far as proving yourself?
Not really. The coaches knew what I could do. I just had to show them that my foot was fine. They were worried about contact and my speed. And the last month of the summer training process is what we time ourselves and stuff like that. And I hit the exact same times as the previous year on the 40 and shuttle and all that, while gaining weight and increasing my squat and my power clean by 20 pounds on both of those. So they were happy to see that, and going into fall camp, they knew that I was back, and I didn't need to prove myself too much. I just had to show them that I could still go into contact and stuff.
Okay, and you split carries a lot this year with another running back, Dorian Brown, who's really, really good himself. You guys were like a 1-2 punch for the Bobcats. How much did that help you, having somebody like him, not only to push you, but also to feed off of?
Yeah, so first off, in the weight room, if you have someone that's fighting for the starting spot as of yourself, it's going to push you harder. So me and him getting to compete in the weight room and stuff like that was a big help with my success. And then on the field, You don't really worry about getting your carries. You worry about how you feel and how you can help out the team. So if you go, 6 straight plays and you're a little winded, running back just as much talent's going to come in. And it's helped us, so we got to stay healthy throughout the year, not taking 20 plus carries every game. I mean, I think I had 3 games with 20 carries, so staying healthy.
Okay, and then at the bowl game, it was something that was kind of neat. Is your girlfriend was able to actually watch you play in person? Can you explain what happened with that?
Yeah, so about 3 weeks before the bowl trip, we found out where we were going, and the softball team was a little bummed that she couldn't go and watch. So they came to me and asked if it was a cool idea for them to try to get together and get enough money to bring her down there. I said, yeah, and then within an hour of them telling me that, they texted me and said they got the flight and the hotel booked and stuff like that. She got to stay with one of the softball parents, one of the softball kids' parents down there. I mean, we just had a good time down there together.
That's cool. So what's the future plans for you? You have, of course, 1 more year of eligibility. What's the plans for next football season and also beyond that?
Yeah, so going into next football season, I'm going to work on more speed and flexibility in my hips to try to be more elusive. Looking for another great season. Our O-line mainly back. We're going to miss Jake Breeze, our starting center. But we're going to have a great season, and then hopefully I can get with Tremaine or someone and go train. Hopefully get a NFL Combine invite. If not, a great pro day at Ohio University is what we're shooting for.
Well, good luck, AJ. It's good to see you back home.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, up next we were going to talk to AJ's girlfriend, Haley Adams, who is a senior softball player at Ohio University.
This is Andy Johnson of Bucks Radio, the voice of Covington Buccaneers. Here to encourage Buccaneer fans to support local businesses. Your patronage of local businesses goes a long way in allowing them to continue to support Covington schools and Covington athletics.
We're back with the holiday edition of Bucks Weekly to close things out with Haley Adams, who is a senior at Ohio University on the softball team. And Haley, can you talk about your experience at Ohio University to this point?
Ohio University has been absolutely amazing. I couldn't imagine if I would not have decided to transfer there. I walked on my sophomore year of college in a fall tryout that I heard about. I went to it, made it through the first set of tryouts, so they sent me into a week of team practice to see how I kind of gelled with the team and see if I was a good teammate, and that went well, so they added me to the roster, and it's been a fun ride ever since.
Okay, and coming out of high school, you had committed to UNOH or IOH or something like that. I can't remember the name of the school, but can you talk about your experience there and what led you to transfer to Ohio University?
I had a good time at UNOH. They offered me a scholarship, and I was naive and got excited and changed my major just to accept a scholarship. Looking back, that was a major regret of mine, but I went through fall practices. I had a great freshman season. I played on the JV team, and then I kind of went and asked if they thought I would be moving up to varsity, and after batting in the 600s throughout the season, they still said they didn't really have any room for me on varsity, and I wasn't really pleased playing JV. I always wanted to chase the highest level I could, so I said, let's go for it, and try to go walk on at OU with my boyfriend AJ Ouellette. I was down there every weekend seeing him anyways, so I figured why not transfer, and it all worked out in the end.
Well, then you got on varsity at OU.
Yes, I did. I first got there, I practiced a little bit in the fall, and then we had fall games like most universities do. And by the end of the fall, I was starting, and I was having a great time. It was fantastic.
So can you talk about the program, and I know you're really close to your teammates. Can you talk about them and how the program's kind of had an impact on your life?
They've changed my life drastically. They have been around for some of the toughest times of my life. they're a bunch of great people who are genuinely invested in you being a great person on and off the field. They want you to be a big member of your community, and they want you to just come out and be a good person. It's not necessarily all on-field work that they're concerned with. They want you to be a great member of society, and that's what they've helped me become.
And unfortunately, you've had some injuries over the years that's kind of held you back a little bit. And could you talk about those injuries?
Yeah, my freshman year of high school, I started having hip surgeries, and since then I have had 6 now. In my senior year, I'm preparing for my 7th hip surgery. Just a lot of different things going on in there, hip dysplasia, multiple torn labrums, and my 5th hip surgery was during my sophomore year at OU, and unfortunately that caused me to be medically disqualified, which was the doctors deeming me incapable of competing at the college level and saying that I would never play again. And I wasn't too happy with that, obviously. I worked really hard to get to OU and play at the Division I level, and to play for a fall season and have that taken away was really hard on me. So I kept trying to find ways to come back, and I underwent a 6th hip surgery that was pretty major. They had no intentions of me ever playing again. It was just hopes that I could continue walking, some semi-pain-free, and I had the surgery, and I recovered quicker than anyone had ever seen. And they said that I could go ahead and take a shot at playing softball again. So this year, my senior season, I got to play in the fall. It was a great time. It was amazing being back on a field that I never thought I'd step on again. Unfortunately, I received another medical disqualification following the fall and had to schedule another hip surgery, but that fall was more than I could have ever imagined playing again, so I'm very thankful for it.
And your teammates, AJ of course went and played in the bowl game this past weekend, and he communicated earlier that they had helped you be able or purchase the airline tickets and tickets to the game to go see that. Can you talk about that and how that all materialized?
Well, I had no idea about it. They completely surprised me one morning at 5 a.m. weights, but I guess the week before we got out for the semester break, they knew I was pretty bummed that I wouldn't be able to make it to his game because I go to all his games, go to everything, and they really wanted me to be there for the game. So it was a Wednesday night. They decided they wanted to try to get me a ticket, and by Thursday morning they had me plane tickets. So they brought him into the weight room, and they all had their Bahama gear on and surprised me with it. So it was amazing. I still can't believe they did it for me.
So how did ESPN get a hold of that video to be able to show it during the broadcast? That was pretty neat.
I'm honestly not. I know we tweeted it out right after it happened. Our softball account tweeted the video, and they tagged ESPN in it. But we never thought like ESPN would really get a hold of it or anything. It was just kind of playing around. But then before the game, one of the ESPN broadcasters came up and introduced themselves to me and said they were going to do a shot of it during the game, and I was pretty excited because everyone deserves to see that, how selfless my teammates are. It's amazing.
Okay, so what's your plans now for your rest of your days at OU and then beyond?
Right now I'm looking at graduating December of next year with a Bachelor of Specialized Studies in Exercise Physiology, Coaching, and Nutrition. I'm getting ready to sit for my personal training certificate, and then I'll eventually sit for my Certified Strength Conditioning Specialist certificate. So hoping to be a great strength and conditioning coach, and hopefully one day train players for the NFL Combine.
There you go. So you're going to be the one to train AJ?
Yes.
He's not going to get any sleep, is he?
No, absolutely not.
Well, that's it with this holiday edition of Bucks Weekly. I'd like to thank all the former Buccaneer alumni for coming back and giving up some of their time over their holiday break for these interviews. For Ben Robinson and Haley Adams, good night.
And go Bucks.